Hi there! As many of you know, I'm Brian Downs. This is Pro Sex Studio, and today we're going to be talking about that pan-galactic disappointment, Men in Black International. But we're going to be talking about it the way I talk about all films here on this channel, which is, does it have a positive or negative attitude towards sex and sexuality? Spoiler alert, it's a terrible film. The movie starts with a totally pointless and unnecessary sequence where Liam Neeson and Chris Hemsworth, two men in black, are going up to the top of the Eiffel Tower to battle an incursion from an extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial threat, the Hive. While they're up there, they run into two people who I'm going to call Proposer and Lisa. He's called Proposer because he doesn't get a name, and she's called Lisa because that's her name. These are two people who are up on the Eiffel Tower after it's closed for the privacy and the panoramic views of Paris. They've gone up there so that he can propose marriage to her. Marriage, of course, implies a sexual relationship, but the relationship they have doesn't seem to be sexual at all. They're not embracing or kissing or touching in any way. He just says, you know, I want you. He doesn't. I don't think he actually says. I don't think Proposer says the word marriage. It's clear that that's what he's trying to do. In any case, he's trying to propose marriage to her, but the Men in Black interrupt them and neuralize them. In fact, the Men in Black interrupt them and neuralize them twice as this Hive attack develops. So what they're doing is canceling at least the legalization of a sexual relationship in this utterly pointless, useless, waste of time scene. This movie's very badly constructed. That's another conversation. But that's what they want us to do. Let's waste time with two NPCs, preventing them from carrying on their sex life the way they wish to, which is as a married couple. Notice that it can't be proved by the text that Proposer and Lisa have ever had sex, ever, in the past, are in a sexual relationship or desire to be in one, except that he's proposing marriage, which implies a sexual relationship, but not necessarily. Then we're going to flash forward to Brooklyn. This was the moment when I realized that this was a terrible film because it's very badly constructed. We flash forward to Brooklyn. No, I'm sorry, it's not a flash forward. It's a flashback to 20 years earlier in Brooklyn, where the main character Molly is a little girl and she has an encounter with an extraterrestrial. She's upstairs in her bedroom. Her parents are downstairs. They hear a noise. They go to investigate. Parents are a married couple. No hint of sexuality there. They're not sitting on the couch holding hands or snuggling or kissing or anything like that. No hint of sexuality in that marriage. The Men in Black show up, some NPC Men in Black, neuralize the parents, but not Molly. So, Molly has seen an alien and this will launch her lifelong obsession. But, no sexuality in her parents' marriage. That's the important part for our purposes. Flash forward to New York FBI branch. 20 or so years later, or maybe 20 or more years later, after the Eiffel Tower thing. Again, the construction of this movie is... people get paid for this. It's amazing to me that people are paid tens of thousands of dollars. Anyway, flash forward. So here's Molly trying to find the Men in Black she wants in the organization. Molly is played by Tessa Thompson. Molly is, hardworking, dedicated, very smart, fit, trim, beautiful, young, probably about 25 years old or so to look at her, and yet has no sexual relationship, no sexuality at all. She's not in a relationship. She has never been in a relationship as far as can be determined. I don't think she ever mentions one. And she expresses no interest in being in a relationship. Not yet. That will develop a little bit later, and we'll talk about that. So what this is two of my memes. I have 12 anti-sex memes that I have noticed turning up over and over again in popular films. Memes that are designed to make you feel bad about your sexuality, presenting sex, sexual relationships, sexuality in a negative light over and over and over again. You ever ask yourself, why do I feel this anxiety about sex? It's because you're programmed to. Two of those memes are, number 4, serious people don't sex. People who are serious, people with responsibilities, people who have things going on in their lives, especially responsibilities to others, don't have sex lives. This ranges from Captain America all the way down to your suburban dad starring in a drama. He doesn't have sex, not even with his own wife, typically. In this film, it's Molly, who is young and smart and hardworking and attractive and why she could be in a relationship if she wanted to, but she's not. You know why? Because she's the hero. She, in fact, actually literally says to Emma Thompson's character, Agent O, when she's trying to convince Agent O to recruit her into the Men in Black, she actually says to her, because I have absolutely no life whatsoever. That's the major qualification she's got for being a man in black. She has no life, including no lover. The other negative meme this represents is sexy celibates. Our heroes, our protagonists, usually have no sex lives or very minimal sex lives, but they're beautiful. They're very good-looking people. They look like Molly. They look like Tessa Thompson. Seems odd. Someone like that could be in a relationship, but they're not, because they're the hero. It's 17 minutes into the film when we cut to Chris Hemsworth playing Agent H. He's on a undercover assignment in London, I think. I'm going to point out here, this is a side note, that this movie engages very much in Superwoman and man-child as a trope. Molly is dedicated, hardworking, extremely intelligent, well-educated, speaks several languages, I think, if I remember correctly. Very put together, and female, of course. The male lead, Chris Hemsworth, is presented as a lackadaisical buffoon who is on an undercover assignment where he's visibly drunk and playing cards. But in this game includes a poisonous extraterrestrial snake, which bites Chris Hemsworth, and he has to beg for the antidote from a Carulian female named Emily. Emily is evidently the mate of the extraterrestrial arms dealer who Chris Hemsworth is there to spy on. Emily has a choice between giving the antidote to her partner and, I think, mate, the arms dealer, or to Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth says, "I'll give you anything you want." Emily says, "Anything?" And we cut to Hemsworth waking up naked in bed next to an extraterrestrial who has tentacles and stuff. Evidently, he has been coerced into sex with the threat of death. If he doesn't get the antidote, he's going to die. Emily didn't give the antidote to her partner. Apparently he's dead, so Emily's not nice. And Chris Hemsworth has been coerced into sex. I want to bring up a point here again about Superwoman and Manchild. Can we possibly imagine this movie including a scene where Agent M is coerced into sex, where it's either have sex with someone you don't really want to have sex with or die? No. We might see that choice presented to her, but not where she actually has the sex. Of course not, that would be horrific. But when it happens to a man, it's funny. That's a side note. Although I'm not sure if it is a side note. The more I think about this, the more I think that these movies present this kind of thing in order to make sex seem terrible, right? Sex is danger. That is one of my negative memes. I'm sorry. Actually, it's negative meme number 2. Danger is sex. Sex is danger. Same thing. This dangerous situation with the poisonous snake and the arms dealers and the underworld and the violence is presented as sexy or leading to sex. Emily, the Carulian, is a bad person. That's negative meme number 7. It's villains who sex. Heroes don't. Villains do. How can you tell who's a hero? They're celibate. How can you tell who's a villain? They have sex. They pursue sex. They like sex. They're willing to do things like make deals to have sex, like Emily just did. This is also negative meme number 4, which is serious people don't sex. I've mentioned it earlier. It's sort of the mirror image of number 4, because Chris Hemsworth does have sex. He's willing to have sex. He has sex to save his own life. He's also very sexy. He looks like Chris Hemsworth. So, serious people don't have sex. But his character, Agent H, is not a serious person. That's his problem. He's kind of a clown. How do we know he's not a serious person? He has sex. 35 minutes into this torture session, Agents H and M go to a nightclub that's full of extraterrestrials on a mission to chaperone the Jababian aristocrat Vungus. Vungus is a well-known party animal, and he instantly starts indicating his sexual interest in Agent M. And that's gross, that's weird, because Vungus himself is a gross and weird-looking character. He's not Zachary Quinto playing Spock. No, it's not, party long and prosper, baby. No, that's not what's happening here. He's gross, he's weird. His attempts to express his sexual interest in Agent M are clumsy and off-putting. Sex is gross. Agent M actually accuses Agent H of trying to pimp her out to Vungus, of trying to offer her up as a sex partner against her will, which is outrageous. Even the idea that that might be happening, which Agent H denies. No, that's not what I'm trying to do here. Remember, of course, Agent H already got coerced into sex to save his own life. That was a joke. That Agent M might have sex with an alien for the sake of the mission is outrageous. But the important point here is that less than 10 minutes after the introduction of this character, he's dead. He's been assassinated. He expressed his sexual interest in Agent M and then he died. This is negative meme number 1, and the most common one you're going to see, the wanting disaster. Wanting sex, pursuing sex, attempting to have sex, having sex, even sometimes talking about sex, leads to a disaster, is followed by a disaster. Sometimes that's a literal cause and effect. Sometimes it's symbolically implied, but the disaster follows soon after the sexuality. Vungus is interested in Agent M, and he dies. So, the movie is developing the idea that Agent M, that's Molly, is attracted to Agent H and that attraction is returned. It's a subliminal, unresolved sexual tension, as they say in the industry, or UST. But they're not in a relationship. They've never even hugged. They certainly haven't gone to bed together. They've never had a conversation saying we are in a relationship. And yet Agent M is obviously jealous of Agent H's failed relationship with Riza Stavros, the mother of murder, the intergalactic arms dealer. This is maybe it's its own meme. I'm going to have to consider this. The idea that a person who is not in a relationship with another person should be jealous of that person's relationship or encounter with a third party. No, that's not okay. That's weird. That's crazy. But as far as memes go, this is definitely meme number 3. Your problem is sex. Agent M regards Agent H's sex life as a character flaw. If a protagonist has sex, likes sex, pursues sex, wants sex, it's presented as being what's wrong with them. It's their character flaw. They're foolish and stupid and pathetic for doing it. If they're good at getting it, like Agent H is, Agent H can do that. Agent H looks a lot like Thor, so he can get laid. Then he's foolish and pathetic and stupid because he can. If the character can't get sex, like the character of Vungus, who fails to have sex with anybody, then he's foolish and pathetic and stupid because he couldn't. You see how there's no way to win that equation? Sex is always negative. Interest in sex always makes you a bad person. Now, notice that Agent H's relationship with Riza, the intergalactic arms dealer, was a mistake. And all we know about that is bitterness, failure, danger, unhappiness. It was a mistake. We don't hear anything about how it might have been exciting or pleasurable or fulfilling in any way at any time. No. All we hear about is how terrible it was. This is another common thing. It's number 1, negative meme number 1, the wanting disaster, but in the past tense. You did want this person, you did have a sexual relationship with them, and it resulted in something terrible, and that something terrible is still going on today, which is he has a dysfunctional relationship with this sociopath. So, they managed to save the day. Giant surprise. Terrible film. And at the end, of course, we see that Agent M is attracted to Agent H. She's looking at him longingly, but Emma Thompson takes her aside and explains to her, it's got a price. Meaning, being in the MIB, you can't be in a relationship with anyone, including your fellow agents. This, of course, is number 4, serious people don't sex. This is Agent O, the senior commander in New York, warning her off, warning her away, telling her, hey, meme number 1 is out there, the wanting disaster. Number 3, your problem is sex. Dangerous sex. All of that's going to happen to you if you don't walk away from Chris Hemsworth right now, who's very clearly interested in making googly eyes at you too. Give that up. Serious people don't sex, and you are a serious person. So I've saved you the trouble of watching Men in Black International, for which you can thank me in the comments section. Also, you can like, you can subscribe. I've written some novels. If you're interested in any of that, you can find me on Audible under Brian Downs, The Berlin Fraternity, Red Sleeper, The Carrefour Crisis, which is pornography. So if that lights up your circuits, give that a try. It's also full of zombies. Thanks for your time. Come on back for more of this when the next video comes out. But before you move on to my other videos, let me answer the question I posed at the beginning of this one. What kind of attitude does this movie have towards sexuality? And it's a terrible one. It's negative all the time. No one in this movie enjoys their sex life. Sex is presented as something that should be avoided at all costs, as a mistake and a stupidity. And that's how they want you and your children and your grandchildren to feel about your own genitals. See you next time.